be live. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Have a couple minutes here to hang out with all of you guys this evening. I'm actually down in Tampa right now, so that's exciting. So all you Florida people, hello. Good to see y'all. Let me just make that a little bit cleaner. There we go. It was kind of grubby. All right, friends. Well, I hope you guys are all having a lovely Saturday. I know we got Instagram peeps on here too. So, yeah, good to see everyone today. I know a lot of people don't really study on a Saturday too much per se, but I hope that you all are having a lovely day. We are about a month out from the exam. So, big thing, friends. Make sure you guys are all signed up for the boards by the 3rd. Because if you're not signed up by the 3rd, then you can't take the exam. So make sure you're signed up and paid. So make sure you submit the payment by the 3rd, which is what day of the week? The 3rd of September is Tuesday. So make sure everybody's paid by Tuesday. That's just the big thing. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But we are just here to hang out, vibe out, and have a good time. So, yeah. Hope everybody's having a lovely start to their day. Or, well, not start to the day. It's 6 p.m. Eastern time. Wow. I'm so used to saying that. But it's a good time. It's a good time. Big things as we get closer to the exam. So if you are planning on starting your studying like Tuesday or Monday, it's a little late for that. Like we are about to be at the exam. So I would definitely say for September, big goals for you guys are going to be to take a PTE exam. So then you know where you're at with your exam and how close you are. So if you buy the PTE, you get 2 exams. You get the practice version and the retired version. Take the practice one first, and then you can take the retired one a little bit closer to the exam. So I would not take the practice exams any closer than 1 week out from the exam. So then you take the time to review your test. The last thing you want to do is take a PTE and then like 2 days later take the boards. That's not advised. Definitely not a good idea at all. So just give yourself some time to let everything marinate. You understand the information and then go from there. I kind of don't like this angle. This is like a weird angle. I have this very bright light bulb right here. I feel like it's supposed to have like a lampshade on top of it, but I feel like somebody stole the lampshade. Like it's literally just a light. Like I feel like there's supposed to be a lampshade. But yeah, so if any of you guys have any questions, just let me know. Where y'all at with your studying? Who's taking the exam when? So yeah, who is taking the October exam? And then if you're taking the exam a little later, just let me know in the comments. I want to see who's all on today. Just want to see where everybody's at. So are y'all taking it soon or farther away? That's the big thing. Brandon, did you get it worked out that you're able to take the October exam? Because I feel like you definitely should be allowed to take the October exam. Zoe's taking it October 8th. Ooh, we got the specific down to the day. Yeah, it's coming up. It's kind of weird, though. I feel like it's like a little bit between. It's usually the first week, so it's like it's weird that's the second week. Oh, Joseph's on here. What's up, Joseph? See, I told you. See, some people might have taken this hour. So we're at a conference right now. So we spoke at a conference. So we have an hour and a half between when we are done with the conference and then we go on this dinner cruise. And so some people think they take this hour to decompress. I'm on here serving my people, so I practice what I preach. Yeah, you already paid for it, so you're good to go for October. Sweet. I'm glad to hear that you are good to go for October because you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. I have no worries about you. I keep telling Dr. Joe that you're doing good. So there's some people I'm worried about, some people I'm a little less worried about. That's pretty much what it comes down to. So, yeah. We got some people on YouTube saying some things. So I'm taking mine October 9th, second attempt, just as nervous as the first. Here's the thing though, Noah. You have already been through the worst case scenario. So if this is your second time taking the exam or even third or fourth or whatever, you've already been through the worst case scenario and survived. Now it's time to just focus on the question that you're on and not repeat the same mistake. So Noah, just out of curiosity, do you feel better about this attempt versus your last attempt? Like reflecting back, do you feel like you have achieved more and learned more and feel more confident? Maybe not so much confident at this point because sometimes people still feel that like weird with the mindset stuff, but do you at least acknowledge that you've learned more now versus when you took it the first time? Or that you're better prepared at least with the information you've learned? That's going to be a big thing to realize that. Because if you take a moment to realize that, then it's like, oh, I'm in a much better position now than I was the first one. Sometimes for people, it's just they didn't have enough time, so now they have had time to review everything. Some people just feel a little bit lost with what they were trying to study, and so now they have more focus and direction. So that's just the big thing. Do you feel better than where you were at the first time? I think everybody can reflect on that at least. So think about that. Anytime you start feeling nervous and it's like not your first attempt, start reflecting on how much better of a position you're in now versus beforehand. Ooh, PJ's on here. Hi, PJ. How are you? Oh my gosh. I have to tell Nick you're on the live. He went to work out. Hold on. PJ is on the live. Come join. I'll tell him to come join. He keeps telling me, he's like, I'm sad PJ didn't win. I was like, I'm dead. He kept wandering away. He did record me a bunch of this at this conference, but yes. Florida is hot. Florida is hot right now. I don't know why I'm always surprised that Florida's hot. Oh, look, PJ, there's Nick. He's here for you. Nick, say hi to PJ. She's on here. He joined his Snowfit Academy. We have to rig it so PJ wins. He's your biggest fan. Okay, Cora says, I missed passing the exam in July by 5 points. I've been really nailing neuro and tegumentaries. Those were my worst sections. Do you have any other recommendations? Big thing for the boards is just make sure like you didn't just spend all of your time on those two sections. Like, see, how are you taking your practice exams and all the other sections are staying where they were before, like you're passing musculoskeletal and like cardiopulmonary and stuff like that. As long as you're doing well in that, I think that's good. I think I did say this at the beginning, but then a bunch of people joined right after that. The big thing for September, everyone's goal should be take the PEAT, take the practice PEAT, take the retired PEAT, and then see where you're at with those. And as long as you see that both your integumentary, neuro, and then all your other, like those two have improved, and then your other sections have done well as well, you should be okay. Keep an eye on your section trend too. Make sure you're not like dipping out in the last section or something like that. That's my best suggestion. So I think you'll be just fine if you've been doing all of that things, addressing your deficits, and filling in the holes. That's pretty much the big thing with those. So as long as you're doing that, that's all good. But yes, that's a big thing. I'll make the next feature Friday just be like PJ 15 times. Yeah, no problem, Cora. Yeah, and if you have any other questions, specific questions, let me know. If anybody's got any questions and they're specific about their situation, I mean, you got my attention right now, at least for the next, I don't know, how long am I going to do this? I think I was going to do about a half hour, probably like 20 minutes. So I'll be good. But yes, that's just the big thing. I need to get my phone time to charge. I'm not on TikTok today for this live, so sorry, TikTok land. I have to save my battery. But yeah, we're doing a dinner cruise tonight, so that'll be fun. Oh, we got a question on YouTube. Do you have any tips for staying focused towards the end of the exam? I'm taking my exam October 9th as well. Yeah, so for the end of the exam, what I usually because I would start to fall apart towards the end, I remind myself like, hey, do I want to be here, sitting in this room, paying all this money to take the same test again in 3 months? And if the answer is no, then I better kick it into gear and get focused again. So that's a big thing for me, is just catching myself when I start to fade. And if it means going back a couple questions to be like, okay, let me do this, like that's kind of the big thing. So I stay focused by fear. I don't know if that's a healthy thing, but I think just acknowledging, ooh, let me not do that. So that's my big that's what I do. Just kind of checking myself, means like, well, will myself to focus, because we don't want to be in the same situation again. So that's a good one for me. No replied. So after viewing my sections from my score report, makes me feel better. I'm going over things I knew I should have went over that I was weaker in. Feel slightly less stressed and more confident. Made a 590 on the first attempt. I still have 2 PETs left to take in the next week or so. Yeah, so that was my big thing for September. Take your first PET, take at least a week or so to review it. Then you can take a second one and see where you're at. But no, I think we talked on the phone, right? I'm like remembering your name, and I think I remember our conversation. So from what I remember, it was just the time aspect of it. I've written down somewhere, but I kind of have a vague memory of when we talked. Sorry if I forgot some stuff. It's actually probably better if I don't remember people, because like if I remember people, it's either it was really bad conversation or it was really good. Usually it's bad. Zoe says my section trend has been that my last section was my best. I struggled most in the middle. Any suggestions about this? I was surprised to see that the last section was the best for me. Yeah, sometimes people's last section is best because you're in the groove, you're doing fine, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm almost at the end. Like, I'm about to be rewarded for my progress. Like, let me keep going. It's like finishing strong, like at the end of a race where you know, like you're gonna win, so you like finish strong to get that reward kind of thing. I'm not fast, so I've never won any races, but that's fine. In the middle, though, I think just the big thing, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of rare to be going down in the middle. I think one of the things is sometimes if you give yourself a little break between section 1 and 2 and then section 3 and 4, that sometimes helps. I actually have to respond to a student about this too. Nick said for his exam, he always took a break between every section. He did have the time to do that. Maybe not an official, like get up and walk around, but even just like sit back, be like, and just chill out kind of thing. That might be helpful. I think also just noting, like, are you starting to, like, what are you doing in those sections that it goes low? Are you second guessing yourself? Are you getting mixed up? Are you starting to doubt your answers? Are you getting lost in the sauce? Are you answering them too quickly? Like, noticing what are you doing in those sections that might be a little different. Maybe it is just you're starting to fade and start to slack off, that kind of thing. In that case, I think still reminding yourself, hey, I don't want to be in this situation again. Let me not do it. That's kind of helpful. Nicole says, my July report showed passing 3 out of 4 sections, and 1 section was off. Have you seen this with your students? Seemed so off after all my practice PETs were passing. Yeah, sometimes that happens, that one section kind of falls off. I mean, I even had this with my own. So like my last PET that I took, sorry, I realize you sweat so much in Florida. I feel like I'm like sticking to this chair. My last PET that I took, I did really well in section 1, 2, and then section 3 I actually got a 599, and then section 4 and 5 I was doing good, and I'm like, was I just like out of it in the middle of it? Like, I think that's what happened. Actually, going back to Zoe's question, I think I just was starting to get out of it. Like, I think I was just like not really thinking too much. Like, I kind of autopiloted, which I think that is kind of something to keep an eye on. But yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of people have one section just be really off, and that's what kind of tanks them. So that's kind of what's going on. Hi, I barely missed passing the PET. Should I take it in October or should I wait till January? Pros and cons to East. I feel like if I wait, I will procrastinate studying even more. But if I take it early and don't do well, then I know what I need to work on for January. So the more you know, what state are you in? Because that's going to determine my answer. Generally, I don't suggest wasting an attempt on the exam, but it depends also. It says you were close to passing your PET. So, I mean, like, you still have time to make up that ground. So I'm not too worried. I still think October's feasible, but let me know what state you're in. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Noah. I just saw your message on YouTube. Happy to help. Happy to help you all. Okay, I think that's how I was feeling too. I plan to take breaks each time for my PET this month and see how that improves. Yeah, that's a good thing. So if you are thinking of doing anything different, like anything you want to try out, do it on a practice exam first. On the PET, you can try new things. On the actual NPTE, don't try to do something new on test day because you don't know how it's going to work out. So don't try to do a whole new concept on test day. Could go south very quickly. Just keep yourself moving in the right direction. So just keep focused on that. Oh, man. I keep yawning. And it only happens when, like, I talk. Oh, shit. College football started this week. I forgot about that. My Pittsburgh Panthers just beat Kent State. I mean, that was like a random team, so they should win. All right. Do you recommend 1 or 2 days of rest prior to test day? Some people like to study a little bit the day before the test just to make sure they're doing things good. Honestly, I say if you're going to study anything before the test, study things you feel good about. So you're not trying to learn a new concept because it's probably not going to happen. As for 1 or 2 days, I think 1 day is enough. I don't think you have to take 2 days. I think 1 day is fine. It's really just up to you. If you feel more anxious about not studying versus studying, then definitely study. Don't make it a marathon of studying. I think 30 minutes to an hour is probably good enough. That's what I would suggest. But yeah, it's up to you. I took the day off beforehand. So yeah, that's what I did. And it worked. I watched Clone Wars. That's all I did. Just watch some TV. Some mindless stuff. When do you graduate from your DPT program? December 18th. I passed my exit exam PET. I got 709 on it. I'm a PT retired, so I'm ready. How have I been doing studying? I teach you guys. I feel like that's keeping up with information enough. Making content, doing things. I'm going to be formally studying, though, probably about 3 months before. But yeah, I am ready. I am ready to be done. Nicole, did you just finish my practice exam? I think I just got a notification because your name looks familiar. So yes, I am ready to be done. It's funny. I graduate on Nick's birthday. So I'm like, yay, it's all about me. No, that'll probably be a good birthday present to him so I can shut up. But yeah, that'll be good. So I just got to pass my final. Oh, you did? Just take it. That's funny. I was like, wait a minute. I just saw her name pop up. I get notifications when people finish my exams. I have to log in to see the reports. I didn't see what she got. But yeah, it's kind of creepy. I know exactly what my students are doing all the time, which I guess is good for them. That was the first one I've done of yours, and I'm glad I know what I know, not glad for my score. All good. So my exams are set up in a way for you to learn based off of them. So I definitely suggest going through all of the rationale videos because that's going to help explain everything and make things make more sense. So I think that'll be good for you. They aren't easy, but they're good to learn from. Oh yeah, Nadia, no problem. Nadia on YouTube, no problem. Happy to help. Yeah, I can't wait to be done. I'm in my last internship. I have 14 weeks left of internships. And then I'm done. I'm excited. So it'll be good. Definitely, I don't know why I have to take the exam again. And that's going to be my 2 truths and a lie. Like, I took the exam twice, but I never failed. That's what I want my 2 truths and a lie to be because people will be like, wait, what? Yeah, my exams, I try not to make them easy, but I try to have you teach you subjects that show up on the test. Just trying to find something. That's amore. Ooh. Is anybody from Florida? I always wonder that. I'm in Georgia. Somebody in a previous cohort at my school suggested taking the exam early because she felt like a lot of stuff was fresh on her mind, and I think fear played a role on her focusing better. Yeah, so I definitely focus better from fear versus anything. So for me, if I could take the exam early, that would like kick my ass into gear to be able to do it. My school will not allow me to take the exam early. I'm kind of okay about it because actually, oh, PJ, we got the house. We got the house. So I'll be moving into my own home that I own, which sounds really weird, but it's exciting. So I'll be moving in there at the end of September. So I'm kind of happy that I don't have to worry about the tests until January, but it'll be good. I'll actually be closer to where I work too, and I'm not really moving super far away, so not too much will change based off of where I am to like get places. So yeah, I'm really excited. It was a lot of money for them to be like, all right, you're gonna give us this much money, and I'm like, ooh, that's scary. So yeah, kind of crazy, but yeah, I think some people like the fresh in your brain, but here's the thing, like exam setting is different than school setting. So no matter what of you feeling like it's fresh in your brain, you're still gonna have to study new things for the boards. That's why like I think sometimes taking the time to sit down and study all the stuff for the boards is going to be helpful. But also it's true, like I mean, how much do you want to push stuff off? Because if you wait to take it in January, you're like, oh, I'm going to push off studying. Well, then you fail. Like, okay, well, then you can't take it till April. So, do you want to keep like not learning things? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah. Ooh, this person's name is Hot Pink. I like that. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Any other questions, friends? Yeah, no problem. Happy to help. This exam sucks. Oh, you're in Pensacola. Fun. Down in Tampa right now. It's very hot here. I don't like it. It's there's a whole Jehovah's Witness convention happening at the Amalie Arena, which is where the Tampa Bay Lightning play for hockey. And so we're at the hotel right next to it, and there's just so many people. Like I'm overwhelmed by the amount of people. There's like 25,000 people just like wandering around in downtown Tampa. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there is a ton of people. And they're all in like their traditional clothes. So they're from all around the world. So like I'll accidentally bump into somebody and then feel bad. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And then they aren't speaking English back to me. And then I'm like, what? But it's like a whole thing from delegations all around the world. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But it's cool. There's a lot of people in like their traditional outfits and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. But like, I'm not at that convention. I'm just at a business convention. I'm like, this is a lot of people. Like half of the, like, I'm glad we didn't have a rental car because we would not be able to get anywhere. Yeah. And like, we have to plan extra time to walk places. So I'm like, I can't get an Uber because it's all blocked off. Yeah, I don't think I ever would want to live in Florida. My dad grew up here in Brandon area in Tampa, and he doesn't come back here. But I think that makes sense. That's also the reason why I ask what state people are in, because like Florida, you only get 5 ever lifetime attempts on the boards, and if you fail your 5th one, then you can't take it again and can't practice in Florida. So they're pretty strict on that, which is kind of crazy. Someone took a picture of me. Not in a creepy way. I was speaking. Oh, this is cool. Thanks, Delia. We're winning. We're winning. Tennessee is 6 times. Yes. Pennsylvania starts getting weird after their 3rd attempt. That's how Pennsylvania starts getting. I hope to be one and done. I feel like I'd be so embarrassed if I didn't pass my exam for PT on the first try. I would literally be so embarrassed. But I think that that's just me being in my own head. Like, I know I'm going to do fine because I've been putting in the work. So that's also the thing. If you guys have been putting in the work, like, you will be fine. And I think obsessing over being scared about it doesn't help. Taking my jurisprudence exam on September 3rd. Wish me luck. Yeah, good luck. I heard the Florida one kind of sucks. But the good thing about the jurisprudence exam is if you fail it, you can just retake it again. It's fine. But I'm sure you'll do fine. Pennsylvania doesn't have a law exam, so I'm never moving. I was embarrassed on my first attempt, and my study friends were shocked. I had a rough couple of weeks. Yeah, and that's normal to feel that way after taking the test and not passing. I mean, Nick didn't pass on his first attempt, so it was kind of rough for a little bit, and he was sad and moping around. But then we, got him into a prep course, and then he was fine. And then that actually, I think if Nick didn't fail, I helped him pass the second time, and we studied together. I think if he didn't fail, I don't know if PTA elevation would have got started. Any tips to remember lung volumes? We're actually going to be talking about this in detail. It's going to be one of the topics we're covering at the last minute review session. So are you coming to our last minute review session on the 15th and 22nd? So we're going to be talking about lung volumes. It's going to be one of the big topics we go over because people get really confused with them. And if you're not signed up, the link is in my bio to be able to sign up. Oh, hey, Casey. How are you doing? Casey, you're out in California, right? I always try to remember where people are from. There's so many weird laws. Gotcha. Yeah. So Hot Pink, definitely sign up for our last minute review session because we'll be covering that topic in detail. Not trying to rush you off, but I am going to wrap up this live in about a minute. So that's why I didn't end up answering your question. Big thing is understanding what is happening with the lung volumes with restrictive lung diseases versus obstructive, because that's more important to understand versus the lung volumes themselves. So is one shrinking? Is it getting bigger? Is it getting smaller? Those sort of things are definitely going to be what you want to focus on versus like the actual lung volume. So like if you're like, oh my gosh, how many liters are in the functional residual capacity? I don't know. There just is. But like understanding, okay, with obstructive lung diseases, the total lung capacity increases. That's more important to understand versus like what is the actual like numbers for each lung volume. And that kind of helps you kind of focus on what to understand. Been having trouble with non-systems. I took a PET and it's been my worst section. Hey, Casey, just make sure you're sending me those results on school. Keep me updated with how you've been doing with stuff because that's going to help me actually give you some advice and give you some direction. Because if you're not telling me stuff, then I can't give you advice. But yeah, send me some messages on school. Let me know what you've been up to, and I'll give you some more specific advice in that kind of way. All right, I think I'm going to wrap up this live in just a moment. All right, guys. All right, well, I hope everybody has a great rest of their Saturday. Enjoy your time. And I will see everybody soon. Bye, friends. See you later.